Florence Square, where culture meets business. Florence Square, where culture meets business.
But,
I'll let you look it up so you remember.
Okay, we'll do.
That's what my mother used to tell me.
Hey, can we get started, folks?
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, let's get started because this is the Florence Square podcast, Square Biz, at 2251 Florida Road, here in the heart of South Sacramento, where culture meets business, and even haberdasheries. So
That's the culture part.
that is the culture. Well, that's the business part too. They met.
That's true.
They met, you see?
That's true.
All right, okay, we know these things, you know? So, coming down, we are open. If this is your first time, we have a world-class museum that the Sojourner Truth African American Heritage Museum, that's going from this to this. It's being expanded maybe 3, possibly 4 times. We want to have a world-class museum, and so we're taking the steps to making that happen, including a wellness center. So we have some doctors up in here, maybe a dentist, some mental health professionals, and so we did devote some time and space to make that happen as well.
But there's also self-care and wellness professionals.
There is self-care and wellness professionals, yes. So it's all part of that health and wellness that goes up in that.
I was talking about those that make us feel well as on the outside and on the inside.
Which is important.
It's incredibly important.
Like me and my wife, I make my wife feel well, but that's not what you're talking about, huh?
I thought you were talking about the fact that you're the brains in the family, not the beauty.
No.
Because your wife's definitely.
She's both.
Exactly.
Okay, she's both. I just say, yes, dear.
Happy wife, happy life.
For 33 years, I know the rules.
That's right.
I know the rules, all right? So, I want to thank my guests for being here. We have Miss Patricia Dent, and she is with Color Street, and she'll be talking to you about nail colorization.
Nail application?
She said yes. Okay.
She said yes-ish.
Yes-ish. But see, okay, that's why I have them come on. So when it's their time, they'll be able to share so I don't mess things up.
It's important.
Then I have Mr. Willie Green from J. William Couture Haberdashery. You know, I can spell it, but we have to look that up though. Menswear, okay? But hats and shoes and suits.
Yes, custom clothing.
And then we have Darius
Cyprian.
What's that?
Cyprian.
Cyprian. See, I should practice that, huh? And you were from what organization?
I'm here as a member of All of Us and None.
Yes, and you're going to be talking about the very important Prop 17. And it's kind of cool because what we're trying to do as we head closer and closer to the election is make sure that our listeners have a clear understanding of what's out there so that when they go, I don't know what to vote on. Yes, no, I don't know. But we want them to know.
Right.
And saying that, every single time I turn on the news, there's something else. I swear.
Aaron,
Yes.
the last time I was here, you introduced yourself 4 times. And this time you didn't
Did
introduce
not.
yourself at all.
Did not. Okay. That's because I get excited. Hi, I'm Aaron Boyce, and you are?
Robin Rose Hamer.
And we are the host of Square Biz. Yeah, I guess there's that, huh?
Every once in a while, it's important to have a co-host.
I didn't think it was important to introduce myself because I got my name tag here, so I thought everybody could just read the name tag. Everybody would be. What's wrong?
Yeah.
You're not wearing a name tag.
Oh man, Say that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Hi, I'm Aaron Boyce.
I'm counting.
Okay. But as we're having fun, three things. There's more, but three things are on my mind. One is coronavirus, which has got us wearing these masks for who knows how long. We're wearing these masks. It's on our minds. Then there's the election, where we all know that we gotta get him out of office. Almost by any means necessary. And within all that, we have the constant and continuous and epidemically challenged shooting of our African American males. And I'm gonna tell everybody else, I'm tired of going to the news and reading about yet another one. And what is that, if you guys saw this in Sacramento, where these two police officers are arresting this guy, I guess. He got his hands firmly like this. Did you see this one? And one police officer does a running kick in his back. Have you seen that one? A running kick in his back. For what possible purpose? And then, of course, they did the standard, he was resisting arrest. Well, yeah, maybe 10 seconds ago, but when we saw it, he was like this. And the guy ran in back of him and kicked him in the back. So I literally couldn't sleep. I literally could not sleep 2 or 3 nights ago. And I wrote this poem, and it's the first time that I'm doing it, I guess you might say publicly. So here goes. I mean, it made sense to me. Black boy walking down the street, he fits the description. Black boy walking with friends, his color is his affliction. Black boy sitting at home, catching major suspicion. Black boy, candy in hand, seems to cause some friction. Black boy being just a black boy, why is death his prescription? Why is black boy death an addiction? Why can't we make a decision to form a petition to end this infliction? End the black crucifixion? And we don't need permission to seek no repetition. But if this is not your mission, then we'll start a transition from peaceful exposition to riot, your definition. But really this is pure fiction, some of your confusing diction to keep us from recognition of your evil intentions, of your end all ambition to wipe us from competition. Or so it seems. So we've made a decision from now on, a prohibition of a never-ending malediction in police jurisdiction without any what ifs or conditions and without contradiction. And make sure that you listen. And it goes as follows. Black lives matter. All lives matter. But all lives can't matter unless Black lives matter. Now, if this is your new position, let's begin a national transmission. Black death must be in remission. Then we'll turn off the ignition and live with a benediction of peace and love, our new vision.
Okay.
So,
And that was written by?
me,
Oh, okay, that was pretty nice.
me, yeah.
Very
It sounded
good.
like a Black Boy Poem by you saying that. There's a book called Black Boy Poem
Oh.
by Tyson Amir.
Okay. Let's hope that's not there.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? So,
You know. No, but and it kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah,
What he
yeah.
talked about.
You know, so I mean, you can see how much this is on my mind.
Right.
I welcome you guys' thoughts. So, Robert?
Well, Aaron, you clearly had your thesaurus mind on. I applaud your ability to get across a message and still stay in iambic pentameter. I mean, you and Shakespeare,
Okay.
just that close.
Okay. Okay.
I say that in jest because if you don't laugh, you cry, and that is my position these days. Truly, we have to get up and keep moving and keep going, particularly in the work that we all have to do every day. But it is so horrifying to be the mother of a young Black boy right now. it was horrifying 10 years ago, but it's even scarier now because, to your point, every morning you turn on the television and someone else has been shot for seemingly no reason. We can justify things with resisting arrest, or we saw a weapon that fell, or all of the reasons or excuses really that are given. But the reality is it's horrifying. And when you add that on top of the pandemic, which is something that you alluded to earlier, it puts everybody in such a state of stress that it's difficult to cope or even be able to continue your day-to-day life. So your artistic rendition does help to wrap your mind around it. It doesn't make it any easier, it gives a bit of a balm to a very bad situation. So I appreciate your words.
Thank you. Sir?
Well, listening to it, you mentioned Candy in there, so, you know exactly who we're talking about there, And it's just reminiscent of so many, over and over and over. And it reminds me, I was in San Francisco, and I went to a museum, and I was looking at the pictures on the wall of a museum, and they had, pictures of people saying, stop killing us. And these were people like way back in 1940s, in the 1950s. And I was just looking at like, damn,
Yes.
like when, and then, enough, when does it end? When does it stop? And it's like, I don't think they see us black people as, like, it's a difference between being human and being human beings, I think, sort of. You know what I mean? Because they don't think I can love my family like they can love their family. Like, I don't think they feel like, because we were, it's still in their mind, like the way they took us from our families. Like, you can be with your brother today, he can be sold tomorrow off in slavery. It's the same thing. I'm formerly incarcerated, so it's hard for me to watch this because I did 26 years in prison, so I could have a roommate for 2-3 years, and then all of a sudden something happens on the yard or something goes wrong, then they move him. That was like my bro, and now you got to go through all, and this happens all in there, out here, then you come home, everybody's dying or from whatever, so it's just like a cycle, a never-ending cycle, and this is just another part of it. And to me, people are, we're unarmed. Even if you got your hands up, you're getting shot. So it really don't even matter. So it's like, I'm down with putting legislation together. Like, my whole thing, I wanted to put a piece of legislation together here in Sacramento. That's why I came to Sacramento. I was originally in the Bay Area. So I don't know, we're trying to talk about putting legislation together that anytime a police officer uses his firearm, he should be blood tested. Period. If I'm driving a truck, if I hit somebody, I get blood tested. Any other, occupation, you get blood tested. So anytime an officer uses his gun, he should be blood testing the line of duty. That's hard to do though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's other bills that could be passed, and I know you guys are gonna talk in regards to first responding, because they'll let you die. And Washington passed a bill where that even if the officer inflicted the injury, they still have to try to save this person's life.
Right.
That's, they teach them CPR, but in some of these cities across these 58 counties we got, it's not even mandatory, and people don't even know that. You think it would be mandatory for police to try to save your life. It's not mandatory. They teach them CPR. That's not
Okay, Mr. Darius.
Yeah.
I'm getting to see now. Give you the mic, gotta grab it back.
I'm on some milk.
But that's okay, man.
This a hot button, Joe. I'm sorry, y'all.
You're speaking truth.
That's hot button.
And that's good,
Yeah.
Sir, well, sorry. He took your time. Next.
But it's a hot button with everyone. I grew up in the 60s, and just learning what took place through the history books that I read, that I was allowed to read because they weren't in the schools, and my mother had a friend who was a black history school teacher, and he would allow me to come to his home and let me read all of the black history books that he had, and to find out that what we're experiencing now is what they were experiencing then. It's just that it's more publicized now because of we have social media. Back then, shoot, television didn't come into the 50s.
Right.
Okay, so all of that was going on, it was only by word of mouth that you found out, or either one of your loved ones disappeared and you couldn't find them, or when they did find them,
Yes.
you know? So it's an ongoing thing with black and Latinos. It's
Yes.
in any dark skin race, they're subject to whatever the law wants to do. Whatever they feel like they can do, they want to do, it's the Ku Klux Klan. And to me, it never settled in my soul why the Ku Klux Klan is still allowed to be here when they crushed the Black Panthers and all of these other black groups, what they said were militant, but they were only fighting for human rights. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Huey P. Newton, and all the rest. I mean, these guys I grew up in Los Angeles, and these guys were in my neighborhood on a daily basis. I seen them almost every day, you know. I followed them for the Panthers for a while, and then I heard Malcolm X speak, so I kind of followed him for a while until I went into the military. And then that was another ordeal. Okay, so I was harassed in the military when I first went in basic training boot camp, because I was the only black guy in my flight. Everybody else was white. The closest thing to me was a guy that was American Indian, and another one who was German and Russian. Everybody else was kicked out of my flight and left me alone. And every day I took those guys out to take them somewhere. I had officers harassing me because the word got out that I was in charge of a flight of white guys, and I had the authority to tell them what to do, and that did not set well with them.
Still don't.
Yeah.
Well,
And it still
anytime you
does.
challenge white supremacy, you have a problem. And you were, clearly an example of why it was a problem, because
Oh, yeah.
in that mindset, you're only supposed to have a white person in charge, and you didn't fit the description.
Yeah, and I didn't ask for the job. It was appointed to me by my sergeants.
Right.
Well, I'm assuming things have changed since the Civil War, though, right? So things is probably
How
better.
have they changed? Because they still killing us.
I said the Civil War, sir. That was my snide. That was my snide comment. Don't let that fly over you. Don't let that fly over. Okay, come on
Welcome to
now.
Aaron humor.
Yeah, but I'm still pointing out that
Yeah.
even during the Civil War, it hasn't changed.
I know,
And if
I know.
any of you have the opportunity to watch this movie that's out now, the 24th, please do. I watched it last night.
Oh, were you watching that?
The 24th?
Yeah, it's called the 24th.
Write that down. Yeah.
It's
The
streaming
24th.
now.
The 24th on Netflix or something?
Yeah.
I heard it the 13th. I didn't watch that one. I have to watch back, but.
One of the things that I think is highlighted in all of this conversation, and then we'll definitely
Yeah.
invite you to share your thoughts, is the fact that we have a constitutional problem. And the constitutional problem is that at our nation's inception, our founding fathers, so they're called, the folks that sat in a room and wrote the document that created the nation,
And all
indicated that slaves were 3/5 of human beings. And our nation was founded on a capitalist economy. So we have to remember that that was all based on property ownership. So we're no longer an agrarian society. Most of us are not farmers.
No.
Most of us don't make our money on the herd or when we take in the crops. So the reality is that most other developed nations in the world have rewritten their constitutions because they understood when they were founded, they're not the same people anymore. So we can have all of the conversations that we want to around police reform. We can have all of the conversations that we want to about educational reform. But until we start an honest conversation in this country about the fact that we need a new constitution, that we need a new governing document for the law of our land from which states can make individual decisions, we're always going to run into these problems. Because the reality is we aren't who we used to be. And the man who does not know his history is doomed to repeat it. So we keep running into the same things because you have folks who are like, well, I didn't know that happened in the 60s. Well, I didn't know that happened in the 30s. Well, I didn't know that happened. So the reason why is he who holds the pen tells the story. We've had this conversation before. So the reality is until we get her holding the pen, if I might pop my collar a little bit, or at least someone who isn't of a single ethnic minority now in this country, which is another thing which absolutely scares white landowning males. The bottom line is we have to get new laws, and passing legislation is part of it, and creating a better pathway forward for our men and women who serve in our military is part of it. But the reality is our Constitution does not fit our country anymore.
Right there. All right.
That's a great point.
And the guys who
No. I
Okay.
gotta let the young lady if she wants to.
So your poem, you wrote down your feelings, and that's what we try and encourage our students to do, especially now. I also encourage my son, who's 15, to write down things. And it's hard raising him right now, especially as he's getting older. He wants to go and hang out with his friends. Well, he can't right now, but but it's like, how do I feel safe letting him go out and have that fear of something happening?
Yeah, this is true. And although we could discuss this, like what my mom said, till the cows come home. But
Agrarian.
we have to move on though. But that's a great way of ending that, because it always goes back to the children. And I know that the children, those who are confused, but there are also those who are suicidal. We got kids who, like me and you, are looking at the news and they are downright suicidal because it's not their world. They don't feel like it's their world. And again, there's a whole lot that we could talk about, but we're going to move on. And we're going to talk about
Haberdashery.
haberdashery. Yes. Because as this happens, life does move on, and we have to find our strength. We have to find our core values. We have to have our power, and it's nice to know that it's still much about the way you look, and the way you look is a lot of times the way you feel. And so, please share with us. This is Square Biz at Flower Square at 2251 Flower Road. Right? We're Culture Meets Business, and you have been a tenant of Flower Square for how long?
3 years.
3 years. And so you're a very respected tenant. So please share with us what it is that you do and introduce you, your name, and your business, please.
Well, my name is Willie Green, and I'm the owner and CEO of J. William Couture, which is a men's clothing store, or haberdashery, as we call it. We do custom clothing. We have clothes that are there in the store. My title kinda is I'm a image and lifestyle consultant. Okay, and for those people who are looking to change their image a little bit, or up it a little bit, because in today's society, how you present yourself and how you look matters. Because even though we're not supposed to judge, society does. Because as soon as they see you, they perceive you on how you look. They look you from head to toe, toe to head. And if it's not within what society says you should be looking, then you don't fit in. You won't get that job. You won't get that interview if you don't look presentable. So at J. William Couture, that's what we do. We help you improve your image. We take you, we don't necessarily just completely change it. We work with what you have and what you feel is comfortable for you. We'll add to it if need be. We'll make suggestions, but basically it's you. It's coming in and getting a custom look for yourself.
So what you're wearing, is that something that is an example of what you can find at J. William Couture?
Yeah, absolutely. The jacket is a custom-made jacket. I had this one made for myself. The pants, the slacks, the shoes we can order for you. We have catalogs that you can look at and choose items from. We have swatches of material that you can choose if you're going to go custom and have a custom item made. It's, like I say, it's a haberdashery where you can come in and refine yourself.
So now, I don't want to embarrass you, but why don't you stand up and sing?
Okay.
I'm not gonna ask you to do the catwalk, you know, just let us sing.
Okay, so what I'm wearing is a custom-made jacket and custom lining. And that's another thing we also do. We're also doing the custom linings now because if you've noticed, a lot of the gentlemen, especially in the sport industry, are doing custom linings. They want their faces, they want their teams, they want whatever it is that they like to have on the lining of the jacket. So we try to match up the jacket with the lining with the jacket. So, and we do different combinations. I'm just kind of wearing a sports jacket and a pair of slacks. And just a pair of slip-on loafers today. You can go a complete suit if you like, or you can mix and match it up, however you want to do it. That's what we do, is we help you put your image together.
Well, one of the really popular concepts now is personal brand. So, you know, you talked about that a little bit, and a lot of the stars are doing it and athletes, but you can find people on LinkedIn or on Instagram always talking about branding. So this is a perfect opportunity for people to refine that brand and also support a Black-owned business. So I think one of the most important things about Florin Square is the fact that it's 100% minority-owned business, 100% Black-owned building, because we have a proprietor who owns this facility who is an African American man. And so I know
85% black owned, 60% women owned.
power to the people.
All right.
So we talk about economic power and how it is that we can build our base. And one of those ways is supporting businesses that are owned by minorities. And so when you're thinking about, gosh, you know, I need something to wear to the prom, or I've got an interview coming up and I need to go off the rack, but I want to support a Black-owned business, this is the place to come. 2251 Florin Road.
Yep.
Suite 153.
Suite 153. Suite 153.
So I'll just leave you with a question. Do you think you can turn this into something that is elegant and savoir-faire?
Only if you can spell savoir-faire.
I can.
Yeah, and we can.
Can you?
I most certainly can. However, I will not be judged today.
So savoir-faire is everywhere, and we can cover you. Absolutely.
Right.
So, you know, it's what J. William Couture is all about.
All right then.
I'm pretty sure you provided a suit for one of my students for his senior prom.
Oh, look at here.
My husband Keith brought him in probably
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So you're like, I probably did.
I probably
Okay, I probably did.
Yeah, I've done a few. I've done a few. So yes.
So I'm glad that you spoke because this is our next guest, and from men looking good, and I'm going to show my sexism right now.
Oh.
I know this is not good.
Your sexism is showing?
From men looking good, we're going to talk about women looking good. Although
That's equal airtime.
yeah, but I'm thinking that what she does can be unilateral for men and women. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's
okay,
unisex.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So Color Street. And now you've heard of it.
I'm wearing it.
You're wearing it. I never heard of Color Street. And so when your husband, Keith, then said, hey, can you come? I'm like, yeah, of course. And we're going to do a little something special, but we ain't going to tell you yet. We ain't going to tell you yet, but don't be laughing. Don't be laughing, okay? You're going to give it away, okay? Don't be laughing. It's a secret. Okay, so why don't you tell us what it is that you do? And welcome to Square Biz.
Thank you. So I'm what they call an independent stylist. So with Color Street, well, first of all, Color Street, nails. Nowadays, with the pandemic going on, nail shops are closed. So we can't just go in. So with Color Street, what they are nail strips.
Color Street
No.
saved my manicure. I was looking rough, y'all. Color Street saved me.
Okay.
So with these nail strips, there's no painting your nails, there's no dry time, they're 100% made in the US. And all you do is you put them on and you shape them to your nail. You can either file them on or, use your finger and peel it off.
I did both. I filed and I used my finger and peeled. So you can go ambidextrous that way.
Is this going to be a thing now?
I'm just saying.
Is this a thing now?
I'm
I
just,
want to know.
I had no idea she was going to be here today, but I am living proof that this is a thing that people should actually have in their life.
This is the first time I've seen her so enthusiastic.
I am incredibly
Okay, so-
enthusiastic. I was looking rough. This is tremendous. This is monumental.
That she will do big business because there are a lot of ladies out there right now who need her service because they are screaming about their nails. They can't go get them done and they don't know what to do.
The struggle is real.
And they
So-
provide for your hands and your feet.
Mhm.
I like the feet ones, I like the hand ones. I'm wearing Color Street right now.
Okay.
Very shiny. I like shiny.
Are yours the ombre?
Yes,
Lovely.
this is the nuclear fusion.
Okay.
So we can just have a conversation, guys, and let them go. Okay?
Well, it's part of my background, so I understand where they are.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this?
I started in August.
Mhm.
It's a little over mid-August, so I'm just recently starting. So it's about 2-3 weeks now.
Wonderful. And you find it to be rewarding. You know, what I love about being rewarding is just like what they said, there are people who because of the pandemic, they can't do that, and it is affecting the psyche. It is, because how you look matters, So yeah, so you are doing a public service.
Yeah.
So, but do you feel like that? Do you feel like you're actually helping people?
Yes, I
Good.
do, because I'm even helping myself because I used to go to the nail shop, not necessarily for my hands, but for my feet.
Mhm.
That's just something that me as a mom got to do, but now I can't.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've had people buy from me and say, oh my gosh, look at my nails, they look so awesome, I'm so happy that I got connected with you. Yeah.
And I have to tell you
Yes.
that it is incredibly simple because I am not the take a lot of time and get the thing right type of person. I'm not the read all the directions and make sure you have all of the things A to Z type of person. So I was able to do my own nails by watching 1 minute and 30-second YouTube video.
Oh, okay.
And I did a full set of nails in about 30 minutes. So I don't know that I will ever go back to the nail shop unless it is for a treat. Because quite honestly, between the economics of my money and the economics of my time, this is a far superior situation.
Now you know, Robin, you know how much I trust you.
I know.
You know how much I trust your word. You know how much I believe you.
I know.
But not this time. Not this time. I need to know for myself.
You should.
I need to feel this experience for myself.
I think you should do
And
it.
so I have 10 nails.
You do.
I have 10 nails and I think they are raggedy. Now we've already established that this is a unisexual thing.
It is.
We have established that, right? So I'm asking Miss Patricia, will you help me? Will you help me fluff up my nails? I don't know how to say it. Oh, look, she got it ready for. All right,
Let's
then.
get it. Let's get your ombre on.
All right, then.
All right, Patricia.
now-
Show them how simple it is.
Gentlemen, no comment now. No comment. This is strictly for research purposes.
I understand it. I used to wear a clear coat of nail polish on my nails every day when I was in cosmetology school because that was
Okay.
part of what we
Okay.
had to do was put in 300 hours of manicuring. So,
Now, which one came first, the military service or the cosmetology school?
no, military came first.
Okay, so, all right then. All right. So can we do it over here?
Yes.
All right, we'll do it over here. I'll put on my mask, and why don't you walk us through this, okay?
Over here.
Okay, let's walk us through it. So,
The most complicated thing today will be her moving that chair. This nail situation,
Okay.
this about to go lickety split.
So,
Okay.
when we start off, we get, they're called twosies.
yes.
So it's a set of 2 that we help give people so that they can try it for themselves before they want to order.
Okay.
So today, you're gonna try Glamsterdam.
Glamsterdam.
I have Glamsterdam.
Do you have something else? Well, it was either that or coral, which was pink. Okay, so we'll go with the Glamsterdam. Hey, me and you,
Glamsterdam is also pink, but I won't tell anybody.
it's Glamsterdam. Okay.
It's okay, I'm wearing pink, so you.
That's
you-
right.
Look at you.
Real men wear pink.
Look at you. All right.
Even shiny, sparkly pink, which is what Aaron is about to
Which
have.
one?
Because this is so simple.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you
You
do
can let
it.
me do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look at
okay,
here.
okay,
So the
okay,
first
okay.
thing you're gonna do is prep your nail.
I'm gonna prep them.
Yes.
I've never prepped my nails before.
Welcome
I mean,
to
ever.
a brave new world.
Okay.
So you're
It's
just
the first
gonna
time for
wipe your
everything,
nails.
Aaron.
Wait till my wife finds out.
You're gonna wipe your nails with that.
Okay, now, how many nails am I doing? Just 2?
2.
Okay, 2. So any particular nails?
Well, it would be whichever would fit.
Okay, so which nails? I got fat fingers, so which
I'm
nails?
large hands.
So,
You
Yeah, I was gonna say.
would probably measure them.
Okay.
Do this
Well,
one.
I'm 6
And
feet
that one,
tall.
okay, that's fine. So I'm prepping them. Now, prepping them means just wiping them.
Just wiping.
So I'm just wiping them.
It's,
Well,
Okay.
you're wiping them with a special solution,
Yes.
Aaron.
Okay.
Don't act like you just wiped them with a
It's a
paper
special
towel.
solution,
It's a
okay.
special solution. It's
Okay.
magic.
Now, does this special solution protect you from the coronavirus?
No,
no.
Okay.
don't ingest it.
That's a
Not-
very
Don't
important.
not
wipe it on
making-
yourself.
She's not making any of those types of claims.
That's
Okay,
right.
okay.
So she's not selling pillows.
Have they been well prepped?
you're good.
They got prepped, okay. Now
So,
what?
they need to dry.
Oh, can I, we're waiting?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's red. It's. I think you're taking this very seriously.
Okay, what? What's the problem? Okay,
That was your fancy way.
okay. You know, I mean, is there another way to do it? I don't know it, okay? I don't know. Okay, so tell me. Okay.
So it comes with
Okay.
3 layers.
Okay.
The first layer is the top clear plastic layer, and it says on there to peel,
Okay.
right there at the bottom.
Okay.
So you just lift it.
Okay.
So you're gonna lift it, and
I
then
am.
you're gonna peel it off, okay?
Okay.
And then you're going to have the gray piece
Okay.
that's attached to the white paper.
Yes.
So then you're going to take that.
Okay, this sounds complicated.
It's not.
Okay.
It's 3 layers, Aaron. It's like an Oreo cookie.
And then you're going to peel that off. see?
Okay, yeah.
And
yeah.
then do that first.
Okay, so let's
So
see.
peel the top layer off.
Okay, here, let me take, I gotta take off my glasses to see this, guys, okay? So, okay. So I peel the top layer off completely?
Yes.
Okay. That's one. It won't come off. Okay. The problems we have.
Static clean.
Okay, now comes the second one. That's this little gray thing, right?
Yeah.
Completely? Now this goes on my finger then, huh? This part goes on my
The
finger.
colored part.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. So now what would I do as it dingles?
So you can take this end
Okay.
and put it on the nail that you just.
Put it on the nail that I prepped.
Not the
Okay.
little one. Put it on
No.
the one next to the little
This
one.
one that I prepped.
But you need the little one for the little one.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know you gonna put me to work. And then you press down?
When you see
What?
is it lined up good?
I don't know. Okay. I mean,
You
really,
might want to put your glasses back on.
you know.
This is the
There
part
we
where you
go.
have to see.
Okay.
So then you want to smooth it out.
Smooth it out. Okay, smooth
You don't
it
want
out.
any bubbles.
Right.
I don't want bubbles on it. So people gonna come up to me and talk about the bubbles
No.
on my nails?
Most people wouldn't be able to see them
They wouldn't be
because
able to see them unless they you
Okay.
decide to just put your fingers in your
Now-
face.
Now what?
What I was saying about you fold it
Okay.
a little bit.
So I fold it.
Yeah, so fold it.
Just to the nail,
And then
obviously,
you're
right?
gonna press it like if you're pressing underneath your nail,
Underneath my nail. Okay.
and that will help you to cut it.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure about this, people. Oh, look at this.
Oh, look at that!
What happened?
Yeah, but it ain't pretty.
You just gotta keep folding.
You just gotta keep working and
It is
folding
never,
it.
okay, so for the person who knows how to do this, how long does it take for a full set of nails?
It took me 30
30
minutes.
minutes.
30 minutes, and you
I
said that.
did this
didn't
before
you?
I came here.
Okay, good. It's gonna take me 30 minutes just to do this one. So,
Only because you're committed to no
So-
bubbles.
How do you get it off?
Great question.
yeah, she didn't tell me that.
So,
Uh-huh.
you have nail polish remover. Because
Uh-huh.
remember, it's 100% nail polish. How do you take nail polish off?
Nail polish remover.
Nail polish
Okay.
remover.
So,
So we're gonna do one. So, we're gonna do this.
Oh, I don't know, Aaron.
you
I
have to
feel
do
like you
two.
have to do two.
Yes.
Because
No.
now you're an expert.
You know something?
We timed the first one
I
at 4
think-
hours and 15 minutes, so this one will
I
be
think-
much shorter.
I think as I marvel over this nail, why don't you share with us your contact information, please?
so I have a website.
Mm-hmm.
It's colorstreet.com/pdent2016,
Mm-hmm.
or you can send me an email, patricia.dent2016@gmail.com, and we can work it out that way, or you can give me a call at 916-531-8334.
Now, does this take, like, do people sometimes take little scissors and kind of cut the edges or something? But, well,
Nail file.
Did you say nail file? Okay. Yeah, because I think, yeah. I think Darius,
Isn't it pretty
You-
though?
you want to join me?
I'm okay. You okay? You doing great?
You okay, huh?
No, I'm glad she put the name out there because
Okay.
I know people probably
Okay.
gonna want to do that
All right,
during
all right.
this pandemic. That's a
Patricia,
great
you're traditional spelled Patricia.
Yes.
Okay, so that's correct.
Okay.
idea.
I think we were remiss in getting your contact info, so, sir. So why don't you share? I know we know you're at 2251 Flower Road. but
Suite
do you-
153, yes.
153.
You can also, I have a website, and that's at www.jwilliam-couture, COUTURE.com. Or you can send me an email, and that's willie@jwilliam-couture.com.
All right.
Or call 916-628-6333.
So I'm gonna just kind of now like this. Oh, so is that the remover?
That is the remover.
Okay.
That's the removal.
I mean, I want it removed now. I'm feeling a special kind of way now.
You're feeling
A
Amsterdam-y?
special kind of way now. You know what I mean? So.
Patricia, do they have a clear coat, or is it
Yes,
just?
they do.
Okay, all right, wonderful.
The thing that I love about them, well, one of the things that I love about them, because clearly I love lots of things about them, but is the fact that it was so easy, first of all, to get them, because you just look at the little catalog, contact your representative, and they show up in the mail. It's like Christmas. It's fantastic. But besides that, you have such a wide selection of colors. So they had ones that were just like everyday nails, and then they had more fancy nails. You could get ones with flowers, you can get ones with rainbows, you can get ones that support causes. So it is very awesome. See, look, you have all of these possible selections. This is pretty awesome.
Well, I wanted blue, but I like the Glamazon. That's right. I like the Glamazon. So thank you, Ellie, and thank you, Miss Patricia.
Yes.
Well done,
Thank you
Patricia.
very
Well
much.
done.
Very much. And so again, this is Square Biz Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Boyce, and you are,
Robin Rose Hammer.
and we are at 2251 Flower Road, Flower Square, where culture meets business. We already found out that Mr. Green here is one of our tenants, one of our most valuable tenants. He's been there for 3 years, and I like the fact that he makes people look good. There are people who care about making people look good. There are people who care about their nails, and there are people who care about so many things, and we forget that there are people who also care about rights, civil rights, the rights of others, the judicial system. We care about that, and we can do both, of course, we can do both. But we have our next guest here, and I want to share with you my thoughts about what we're going to talk about, and it's this, right? We know that every time we have some sort of a vote or something that is judicial, even if it sounds good, you know it's not going to work because the judicial system itself isn't fair. It's not fair. So even thing that sounds good, it's not going to be fair. And so when you have in this United States, and I remember Mr. Farrakhan, he was talking to Mike Wallace, and Mike Wallace was asking him what was the most, what did he say, corrupt country that he's ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said, right here.
I'm living
Right
it. I'm living in it right here.
I'm living it. Exactly. You know. And so when you think about a system where you get two people, one of color and one not of color, and they do the same crime, and one gets this, and the other person gets 10 to 20.
Or life.
When you think about folk about this lady, the African woman, who had the temerity to try to get her child in a better school, so they arrested her for fraud and put her in jail for 5 years. And then you have these other folk who got 2 months in jail, even though they purposely defrauded with money and power and everything like that. You're thinking something's not right with the system. Something's not right with the system where you put people in jail for offenses that you don't put other people in jail for. Or when you think about it, and you have folks who either get the proper representation. So let's say they, person of color, a person not of color, they're both on trial, but one gets the proper representation and the other one gets a public servant who's way too busy to do anything. And so again, it's just unfair. And this unfairness, what people don't understand, travels far beyond the incarceration. And so you think to yourself, what's the best way to disenfranchise a community than to incarcerate that community? And so I'm so proud to have Mr. Darris. Can't pronounce your last name, but it starts with an S, right?
See?
It starts with a C. Mr. Darris C.
Yeah.
And I'm being facetious. If you want me to learn to how to pronounce your last name, I certainly will. All right then. All right. But I'm proud to have you, sir, because we want to talk about Proposition 17. And a lot of people, they don't know what these propositions are.
Okay.
They don't know. But Proposition 17 is, and I would say it, but you're here. I'm going to let you talk about what Proposition 17 is and why that's so important that we have this in our mindset. Sir.
Okay, first of all, I love the place, and first of all, thank you for having me here. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Darris Cyprian. I am a member of All of Us or None. I used to work at All of Us or None, actually, as a former policy manager. I was a policy manager there for a while until I moved out here to Sacramento. All of Us or None is actually in Oakland. But we started the Sacramento chapter here.
And
so
we have one in this building.
Right, and so
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're bringing out All of Us None here because we really feel like Sacramento with the capital here. We have to make our voices more present. And so for those who don't know what All of Us None is, All of Us None is, it's a grassroots campaign, actually. It's a grassroots movement formed by formerly incarcerated people. It actually came about 17 years ago, and it came about because of voting. It came about because of the Bush and Gore race. When you look at the Bush and Gore race, you realize Bush won that race by 537 people. There were 750,000 people in Florida at that time disenfranchised. 750,000. You know what I mean? So at that point, that's, people start thinking, what can we do here? And All of Us or None was formed. Also, All of Us or None is a project of legal services for prisoners with children. And they've been around about 40 years. And what they do, their job is their mission basically, is to fight the collateral consequences formerly incarcerated people face and to fight for the civil and human rights of currently and formerly incarcerated people. So just some of the things we've worked on that we've done, we've been part of AB 1008. We're rooted in that, where they can no longer ask formerly incarcerated people, or people just in general when you're going to get a job, they can no longer ask you if you've been incarcerated about your conviction history until you've been offered a conditional offer.
The ban the box.
The ban the box, that's the thing, the ban the box. And now also, we did SB 310, was part of SB 310 along with ACLU and the public defender's office. Now, formerly incarcerated people can now sit on a jury as of January 1st, SB 310. That was pretty big to me. I was so excited about that. A lot of people will probably be tripping off me, but I was really excited about that. But what I'm really most excited about is Proposition 17 because that affects me. I'm formerly incarcerated. So I've been home about 4 years now. I spent 26 years in the Department of Corrections here in California for murder. I went to jail at 21 years old. I had second-degree murder, so I did 26 years for that. Come to find out, I should have been out a long time ago, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so I've been home about 4 years. So voting never really came to my mind. I only voted one time. I voted one time when I was 18 years old. Me and my dad, we went to vote. So I really didn't realize, I seen it on TV and things like that, but I really didn't realize a lot of the guys that I'm around never voted. I really didn't realize a lot of my homeboys or people that I grew up with has never voted until they're in their late 30s, early 40s. They've never even voted. So all my friends, most of them have never voted. I just happened to vote at 18 before I was incarcerated and went with my dad. I think it was the Dumasian and the first Bush thing, because I'm 52 now. So I was like 1988, you know. And so, you know, when I came home, I took the job at All of Us Now, started working at All of Us Now, started seeing things, and I got into legislation and policy. I started learning how policy starts from its inception all the way to the governor's desk, and got a treat for it. At that time, I was in school at San Francisco State. I came home. The reason why I paroled to the Bay Area initially is because I'm from Los Angeles. I'm from South Central Los Angeles, born and raised in LA. And I paroled to San Francisco to go to San Francisco State because they have a program called Project Rebound by Jason Bell that allows formerly incarcerated people to come home and get a degree on their dime. Right. So I came home, I said, I can't pass that up. You know, I mean, they let me out. If they're gonna let me out, this is where I'm going. So I came to San Francisco, and I liked the school so much, I ended up getting my bachelor's, and in October I'll be graduating now with my master's. So it's exciting. And now, you know, I'm able to go back inside and talk to my people and talk to people. So, and about Proposition 17, it's like, by me coming home, I'm realizing that if gas go up, I have no say-so. I have no say-so, like you were saying, we need to get this guy out of office. Yeah. I have no say-so in that. You know what I mean? Because I'm on parole. So in California, if you're on parole, or if you're incarcerated, if you're currently on parole or in federal or state prison, you do not have a right to vote. However, the twist is this, you and I can go to jail. You can go to federal prison. I can go to state prison. You can go to federal prison for whatever. I can go to state prison for whatever. Same crime. You can get out tomorrow and vote. I get out tomorrow, I can't vote because you're on probation. I'm on parole. The statute says if you're on parole, the feds only do probation. So if you're on federal probation, you can vote, but on parole you can't. And so in this whole union, there's only like there's 2 states where you can vote on parole currently, and that's when you're currently on parole, and that's Maine and Vermont. You know, Bernie Sanders, Maine and Vermont. And you can also vote in prison in Vermont. The only states you can do that. And that's the ultimate goal, to get it so we can vote in prison. You know what I mean? And so right now I have no say over what elected official, you know, governs my district or my county or my community. I have no say on anything.
So Darius,
yeah.
Talk to the people who would say they're not sure if they want an ex-offender to have the vote. And you've heard this. So explain why that is not only a right, but also a good thing for the community.
And you know what? And that was the hardest part, to getting it over the hump when we were going through legislation. We had to try to make it a bipartisan effort. And you know, and this is the cool part about politics and about policy. When I was working as a policy manager, you know, people, you know, you have legislators that would actually come to you, or other lawyers who would come to you and say, look, we don't want you using words like Jim Crow, you know, here on the floor. We want to get away from that. But this is what that is. You know, my father faced a different kind of Jim Crow. I'm facing that same old Jim Crow. It's a little more subtle, but you know, you can disguise it how you want. Voter suppression is voter suppression. Right. You know, and that's what I went in and said. So it was a big old blow up about me, because they wanted to make it a red and blue thing. I said, well, it's actually a black and white thing. So I kind of went off on a coalition, kind of went rogue a little bit that day, though. And I, my director, you know, I actually got promoted for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I stood my ground. Because the other people, other formerly incarcerated people were letting people never formerly incarcerated speak for them. And you can't really speak to that. I mean, I can appreciate the allegiance, but you can't speak. But why is it so important? It's because when I was incarcerated, you know, I was sentenced to 15 years of life. They didn't say, okay, we're taking your citizenship too. You know what I mean? I didn't lose my citizenship. So, you know, why coming home should I lose access to democracy? You know what I mean? And voting is like, it's like the cornerstone, you know what I mean, of a democracy. So, I'm formerly incarcerated, so I'm civically dead now. I'm civically dead now, and that's just not the way it's supposed to be. That's not the way it's going to be, and I think it's caught on all across the country. You know, you've seen it happen in Florida. We went down to Florida. We took about 1,000 people from California to Florida, and we worked on Measure 4 with Desmond Meade and them down there in Florida, and we got Measure 4 passed. And you had over 1.6 million people able to vote down in Florida. You know what I mean? And so the governor came back and said, hey, you know, all these people didn't pay their fines and fees. So they can't vote. So that knocked it down to about 840,000 people still able to vote. So LeBron James and all the rest of these athletes came and put up some money and paid off these fines for Florida. You know what I mean? So it's things like that that's catching fire. These are the things that we need to do. You know what I mean?
So, Robin, I say that it looks like you got questions.
Well, I first want to say that the correlation between Jim Crow is exactly right. It's
Right.
the systemic racism, right? So there are a number of targeted things
Right.
that the system does to disenfranchise Black and brown people. So this is a part of that playbook, so to speak. I think that one of the questions that I have is, talk to us more about Prop 17, because we started this with the conversation, you get this big long list of things that you're supposed to vote for, and they say all of these words, and then they say yes or no. So talk to us about Prop 17.
So Prop 17 was originally ACA 6, Assembly Amendment Constitution 6, and what we're doing is that we're amending the California Constitution right now. We had to put it on the vote, so all 58 counties, so all Californians can have a say in should people on parole have a right to vote. And that's what Proposition 17 is saying. Do you think a person on parole should have a right to vote? You know what I mean? And some people say no, some people say yes, some people say, well, I think they should have a right to vote after they get off parole, because right now, once I get off parole, I'm still on parole until June of next year. I have to do 5 years of parole. So right now, I'm still on parole. So after June, my voting rights are automatically restored.
Okay.
But right now, laws are being passed that affect me. Laws are being passed that affect my family. Laws are being passed that affect my community. And so that, to me, that gives me every right to have a right to vote, and that's what Proposition 17 is saying, though. And we've been fighting this. They've been fighting this for a while, though. Been fighting for a while, and so it's kind of caught on across the country. If California do it, I think it'll pretty much get the rest of the people to do it too, the rest of the states. But it's Florida and California, so.
So you're saying that California would be the second state besides Vermont and Massachusetts?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
Florida, California will be.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this technically would
Between
be the fourth
Vermont
state.
and Maine,
Maine.
not
Okay.
Massachusetts. Yeah.
The M's on the East
Well,
Coast.
right now you have other states that's already doing it though. California is supposed to be so progressive.
Okay.
We're actually behind the time.
Oh.
I think it's about 18 other states
Okay.
that's already doing it. But California
Got it.
keeps saying we're going to do it, but
They ain't done it.
they keep putting. Well, we've never gotten this far. We've never really gotten this far, and I don't think nobody's ever really pushed it this hard. You know
So,
what I mean?
so how are you, there are some sexy initiatives, some sexy things on the ballot, things that people go to because it's popular. That's sexy. That's what that means. Okay,
Like what?
Robin?
Well, I
Okay?
wasn't sure if you were talking
Well,
about your glamazon nail.
No, I'm not. Well, and that's the whole thing. This year, because everybody's focused on the presidential, they're not thinking about
The local.
the local.
Right.
And so your amendment isn't sexy. And so how are you going to push that into people's mindsets so that they will recognize Prop 17 and recognize the importance of it, and when they go to ballot, go, ooh, Prop 17.
Right.
We want them to go and look for Prop 17, don't we?
Right, and what they have to do, they have to look for Free to Vote 2020. If you see Free to Vote 2020, you know that's Prop 17. It's going to say Free to Vote 2020.
So that's the same thing?
Yeah, Free to Vote 2020 is
Okay.
Prop 17.
Okay.
If you see it say Free to Vote 2020, it's Prop 17, Free to Vote, period. And you can go to prisonswithchildren.org and find out any information you need from that. You can go to prisonswithchildren.org and you can get more information.
Now, my handwriting bad, but
Free to vote.
prisonwithchildren.org.
Yeah,
Prisoners.
Prisoners?
Prisoners.
That's right, write this now.
Well, I'll also point us back to our guest's last podcast before last when Ms. Kula Koenig was here, and was here from Bawapa, and we talked about the Sister Circle voting guide. So that is another excellent tool that voters can turn to get information. And I'm sure there's information about Prop 17 in there. They're incredibly thorough when they put that together. So if you need an overarching tool to be able to help you get through all of the local things, because they really do focus on the local elections, the Sister Circle voting guide.
Okay, okay.
And that's in Sacramento?
Yes.
So as we wind down our podcast here, I always ask for one last thing. So something that's on your mind, something that you forgot, something that you want to stress, right? So let's start with you, sir. Give us, introduce yourself again, and then give us one last thing.
Willie Green, owner of J. William Couture here in the building. Like you mentioned, watching the news and seeing all of what's going on in the shootings of young black men and black men period, with the initiative Prop 17, those are things that should have been in place years ago. I remember coming back from Vietnam during the Vietnam War and how they treated us. We had no rights, they gave us nothing. We're still fighting to get the rights that we deserve as you know, military status. And now here, they won't let people who have served their time and have rehabilitated themselves back into the community, they have a right to vote, you know? So I'm behind Prop 17 and,
Thank
you
you.
know.
Thank you. Young lady, and it could be about anything, but
Yes.
one last thing.
So I forgot to say that they come like this in a pack. There's
12.
10.
Which one, 10 or 12?
There's 12.
Okay, there's 12. She knows, okay.
12 strips.
Okay.
And when you use them, you can actually use one strip for one and one.
What?
Yes.
You mean, I just wasted the whole strip? Okay. Okay.
You have a big finger.
Yes.
I do.
In most cases, you can use one strip
Twice.
I'm thinking on invite you back at every podcast to get every finger done eventually.
How long do they last? One question. How long do they last?
About 2 weeks.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's best, like anything, if you're gonna do dishes, put gloves on to help them last longer. Make sure you put lotion on when you're doing it, especially now with lots of hand sanitizer.
That's what I gotta do then. One last thing.
Me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I don't know. I'm just thinking about a buddy of mine. I got a letter from a friend of mine doing life without parole. Man, he's been incarcerated since he was 19. He's 50 now. You know, and you know we pushing law. We got a NLWAP piece of legislation we trying to do on that. You know, he was 19 at the time. You know, he's taking full accountability for his actions. But that's just another. That's just the other death penalty, and we're working on that too. Because you got so many, got way more people serving life without parole than people even probably realize. So that's been on my mind all day.
And you're definitely not the same person at 50 than you were
And they know that.
at 19. Although we don't want Charles Manson before he died ever to get out, ever. But that's, you know what I mean? Huh?
He didn't actually kill nobody.
No, he didn't. And yet we never ever wanted him to get out.
We know that.
Oh, all right. Hi, Miss Robin.
Hi.
One last thing.
I have 3 last things.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
I do. My first last thing is there are 27 days left for you to participate in the census. So as important as voting is, the census is before voting. And a lot of people say, I don't want them in my business. The census is anonymous. It just enumerates the people in your household. And it is a 10-year deal. It is only done every 10 years Once a decade, we count people in communities and get money for roads and schools and buses, and they calculate bus routes and all of the things, the civil amenities that we rely on, particularly in communities of color, are dependent on census tract data. So 27 days left. Pick up the phone. It takes literally 3 or 4 minutes to answer those questions. I know that census person has been at your house, leaving little tickets on your
I
door. So
volunteered and did it, so I was there.
stop ignoring it and do the census. So that's my one,
I
that's
did
one.
mine online, I'm good.
Right, and how long did it
We
take?
did ours and
Yeah, not long at all.
Takes a few
It's like
minutes.
10
It's quick.
questions, it's only 10 questions.
it's only 10 questions.
It's sub 10. I
So
think
that
it's like
was one.
7.
Remember to write it down.
I will.
Now what's 2?
Number
Okay,
2.
Here we go.
Every single person who is registered to vote will get their ballot in the mail this year. Every single person. But you are not required to vote by mail. So, you can, if you're a school nerd like me, take your ballot, fill it out, and then go to the polling place and wait in the line and cast your vote there. But the wonderful thing about having a vote by mail ballot is if you fill it out, you can drop it off at the polling place. So
Yep.
you don't have to wait in the long line, nor do you need the two stamps that are required to mail it. So my third thing is, if you are voting by mail and you are actually putting your ballot in the mailbox, it requires 2 stamps and there is a ballot tracker. So you should go to the voter registration website, download that tracker. Well, you don't have to download it, it's not an app, it's just a website. Get that website, put it in your browser, and track your ballot and make sure it gets to its destination. If you mail your ballot and the day before the election, your ballot has not yet gotten there, you can vote in person. So it is incredibly important that you take responsibility and accountability for a right that people are fighting for, and people have been fighting for since the end of slavery. So it is incredibly important that we are not capricious with our right. Every single registered voter is going to get a ballot. Use it.
That was
All right,
That was 3.
All
that
right.
was 3.
Still don't see the census then.
I'm gonna write it.
Okay, okay. Otherwise, like, well, you don't want.
Oh my gosh, let me write
Okay,
it.
okay. So, I will end as I began, and that is about, our black males being shut down in the street. And Trump, went to Kenosha to do a whole big law and order spiel that didn't feel good to anybody but him and his base. Joe Biden went there and I believe spoke with the family. Now, when you vote, it's not just important to get the man out of office, but also his ideology. Because the man is also going to put in the judges. The man is going to back things that we don't want to be backed. The man is going to continue to foster hate and pain and just not recognize anything intelligent. And we have to get the man out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, I am over 60, and I've seen and been through a lot of Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. And I mean, we survive. We survive. I'm not as much upset with the fact that the Republicans are in office as I am upset with he is in office. And he has the power to destroy, and he uses that power every day with reckless abandon and without a care in the world, and he enjoys doing it. And so therefore, folks, we gotta use the power to vote to get him out. And I believe that is the first step towards healing. No, I don't. I know I do not say that everything is it's better. Once he's gone, it's not.
No.
But the first step towards healing is that we're gonna have somebody intelligent in the White House. So that's my last word. And guests, I want to thank you for
Thank you for
coming
inviting
and
us.
making this special as usual. And if I forget, I don't want to forget. I want to thank Ms. Desiree Fox,
Yes.
our videographer, and her husband John, who also is a major help in all this. And you're listening to Square Biz Podcast here at 2251 Flower Road, where culture meets business, Flower Square. I am Aaron Boyce, and I'm proud to be with.
Robin Rosehaven.
And with that, we look forward to our next one. Till that time, we bid you adieu. And yes, I can spell it.
Adieu.
You know something? Whatever. Anyway, folks, thank you.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. And look, thank you very much. That was cool. That was cool. That was
Thank
cool.
you.
All right.
Florence Square, where culture meets business. Florence Square, where culture meets business.